Hey, what's up guys? We're back in the garage. Today we're going to attempt to replace my Miata window trim molding. Now the window trim on my Miata has ripped in this area right here, and I went ahead and tried to fill it in with something. I don't know what I was trying to do there. You don't really notice it from far. As soon as you get up close, you're kind of like, ew. And you can see I already started kind of pulling this out. Comes out pretty easily. Here's the other side. I didn't see many videos on how to do this online. There is one, and they used the Mazda specified part for this. I think it ended up costing a little bit more than I wanted to pay. So I found another option through Jegs, and it's this part number WKT631. Comes with these two pieces, which is the trim piece, and I think this is just like a piece that you kind of stick on the frame, and this should help this thing stick. This was $11.99 with $9 shipping and handling. Came out to about 20 bucks. Much cheaper than the OEM. So I've never done this before. I don't know what I'm doing. Definitely do your research before you do something like this. This is just my experience, and hopefully it turns out. All right, so initially when I took this out of the box, I assume, okay, well this section's a little different. So I'm going, okay, well that's the bend. Then I look at this side and I go, okay, there's that section, there's a bend as well. Let me line it up to the car and see what it looks like. I'd already done this before, so kind of just show you where my mind was headed. If this is the bend, and that's the bend, well this middle section is clearly not long enough to go across here, right? So my initial thought was they sent me the wrong piece. I'm gonna have to return this, figure out what the right piece is, and order it again. Then kind of looked at it a little bit more. This isn't pre-bent. This is all one long piece. Probably shouldn't be hitting my car like that. This piece is long enough for the entire frame. So the conclusion is that this is the correct piece, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to install it. First, we're gonna take off the existing molding. Just using some vice grips. Now this was a little tricky because this was tucked in there real good. It's hard to kind of get this piece out, but I finally got it out. It looks like it just comes right up. And yeah, the old one's out. Let's take a look at this. I'm gonna have to go in here and clean this out real good. There's some gunk. Looks like a trim piece similar to the one that was provided. So I'm gonna have to take a look at that a little closer. It doesn't really seem to want to come out. I might have to go in there with a blade and kind of scrape it out. Yeah, it's pretty dirty. I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning that. Went ahead and cleaned it. What I used was diluted simple green. I used a detailing brush and a microfiber towel. As I was peeling this back, I noticed that this piece is actually a little bit deeper than I thought. And what I'm guessing is that this piece was put on first, then the adhesive was laid down, and then the window was put on. So as I'm peeling this up, this is actually lifting out from the adhesive. What that's telling me is that if I'm gonna put this new strip in its place, I might have a hard time getting it under that adhesive. And because this piece is in there fairly well, I wanted to see if the window trim would actually stick using this. So maybe I could reuse this. So what I did is I started putting the new trim piece here, and it fits really well. Go ahead and putting it down in here just to see how it fits, you know, kind of test fit it here. Can I just run it like that? It certainly looks like it, but you know, as I grab this corner piece and I just lift, it just kind of comes up pretty easily. I'm gonna have to use the locking piece along this edge. I'm gonna reuse this piece, okay, because it locks onto here pretty well. I'm lifting up, it still comes up pretty easily. Not as easy as the sides here. I'm guessing that some of that glue or the adhesive that's holding the window down is actually also holding the trim piece down. And this is where it's gonna get weird. Option one, go get the correct adhesive that I should probably use, but I wanna go ahead and get it done now. I don't wanna have to go to the store. And so how can I do that? Well, I watched another video on YouTube. A guy used shoe goo. He had a piece of windshield trim that was flapping around, and he just used a little bit of shoe goo to hold it down. A lot of you guys might not like this idea, but the point of this is to just add a little bit of extra help to sort of keep this from not lifting up as easily. And I think shoe goo is gonna do the trick. I'm gonna apply my locking trim. So it has like some adhesive that you peel back, and I'm sort of kind of guessing how it goes based on the way this one's put in. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it in half, and I'm gonna use these on the sides. Since I'm reusing the top piece, I won't have to do anything up there. Kind of see how this goes here. These ridges on the top part are what's gonna hold it in, and you can see it's like a L. The bottom part of the L goes down. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the adhesive, and I'm gonna go ahead and stick this thing on. That's some really good adhesive. I think it really sticks. Now, just real quick, I wanna go ahead and test fit this. So pulling it out, comes out, but it's definitely in there a lot better than without this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat this on the other side. All right, so now that those little side pieces are in, I'm gonna go ahead and test fit the trim. I'll be able to see how long this thing actually is and how much room I'll have on that side. You know, like if I test fit this and I come up like an inch short, obviously I'm gonna have to redo it. As I'm test fitting it, I'm running into a problem. I think right here, I'm not able to get it down in that area. I test fitted it here and it fits fine, but as soon as it gets to right here, it's too narrow for it to fit. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift up the little side piece I put in here and cut it to right about there. It should be able to fit after that. I was able to judge the length of the trim piece along the entire side here. It kind of goes an inch beyond the window, the windshield on that side, and the same with this side. It's almost exactly an inch past, so that's perfect. What I'm gonna do now is go ahead and lift up half of this, lay down the shoe goo along the little gap, and go ahead and put it back down. Then lift up the other side, do the same thing to that side. Ooh, this stuff stinks. And it's hot in here. So this is what it looks like. It's not pretty. Tried to put a little bit more in the corners because there's no pieces that really hold it down in the corner. Really do think that this is going to be sufficient on holding it down. Not pretty, but yeah, you don't see it after it's done. So I was having a hard time getting this piece down. You can kind of see how it's sticking up right there. If you have a hard time getting it to sit right, just stick as flat as possible. Probably something plastic if you can. This is metal, is all I have though. And then give it a little nudge down while you push it on top. And that'll help it seep underneath that little locking trim piece. Another problem I'm having is because the shoe goo opening is like this, I wasn't able to get it to go all the way into the crevice without it kind of spilling over a little bit. So this is -5 points for the shoe goo, but I'm gonna have to clean all this up, and it's coming up pretty well with isopropyl alcohol and a rag. I'm gonna go along this whole trim piece and clean up as much as I can. So I'm hoping that you won't even notice it afterwards. So my camera died as I was finishing up, but what we have now is more or less the finished product. Let me show you. There we are. Trim, it's all on there, and I'm really stoked actually about how it's gone on. Now, using the shoe goo, I got a lot of residue, some isopropyl alcohol, put that on a microfiber towel, all that not dried shoe goo kind of came right up. You can see that the bacony effect is gone. I went ahead and hit it with a heat gun. Real gentle, I'm not trying to like melt the piece, just kind of heat it up enough so that it takes away those wrinkles, and it did that just fine. And this was the trouble spot that was all ripped up and looks nice now. Yeah, there you go. Not too difficult. On a scale of 1 to 10, that was probably about a 5 or less maybe. It all really comes down to how much, I guess, effort you are willing to put in to get it to look clean. And I think for the price I paid, 20 bucks shipped, not bad. Really stoked on how this one turned out. I'll see you in the next video.